What's up everybody? Ace Trainer Ryan here with another SPC Season 2 video, and today we have our draft analysis for the Sky Pillar Championship Season 2. Super hyped to get right into it. So I wanted to resurrect and almost mimic my old PML team back in the day because I really liked using sand, even though that was like Dynamax format. So I started off my round 1 pick at number 17 out of 18, so we didn't really have a lot of access to any like super high S tiers. Like pretty much everything was gone by the time it got to us, but I had already figured Excadrill wouldn't go in the first round, so I went ahead and picked it up. This mon's really strong. Of course, Sand Rush. It can run Life Orb, Choice Band, stuff like that. We all know what Excadrill does. It loves to play in the sand. Really nice, really strong. 85 base speed is nice. It's a spinner. It can set up rocks. Probably won't, but it's an option. Whatever. Next up we have Latios, and Latios was like the number one like pick that I could come up with that goes good with Excadrill. So it's a snake draft, so since we're 17th, we only have 2 picks until our second round pick. So I figured the best strategy for this would be to draft Pokemon in pairs. So the first one we have is Drill and Latios, and they work really well together. Latios, of course, resists all of Excadrill's weaknesses, so fantastic there. Latios, really great Pokemon. I've used it a lot in the past. I've used Latios as well. It's just really nice, dropping Dracos. Psychic is really strong. It can touch steel types now with Aura Sphere and Mystical Spire. Yeah, but I really like Latios. Super fast, super strong, nice special attacker. Next up we have Zarood, and I have never used Zarood in like anything before, so I was really excited to pick this Pokemon up. Grass isn't like super great for offensive typing, but one thing that I really liked about my team last season was a Pokemon on my team called Serena. Serena was so good, 120 attack stat, and Power Whips just hit so hard. So Zarood is kind of like that, but faster. It has U-turn for momentum. It has healing in Synthesis and Jungle Healing. Why Jungle Healing might come into factor is, of course, Synthesis will heal half in Sand, so Jungle Healing would be technically the better healing move at that point. So it'll just depend what we want to do. I kind of wanted to stick with a good competitive team that didn't have to rely on Sand all the time, like we have other stuff as well. So to go with Zarood, I definitely, around round 4, I definitely wanted to get a bulky water. I think at this point, a lot of bulky waters were like flying off the board. Like I think Slowking and Slowbro had been drafted this round. So I went ahead and got Vaporeon. Vaporeon's really good. It gets access to Flip Turn now. Scald, Ice Beam, Heal Bell, Toxic, Protect, Wish. It's pretty much the same thing as Sylveon, but water type. I do like Vaporeon. I use it a lot of times in like playthroughs. Love how bulky it is. Yeah, but it's going to be good to take ice hits and soak up a lot of special hits. That's what Vaporeon is, really like a special wall. Next up we have Wheezing. So I just got Vaporeon for my special wall, and I got Wheezing for my defensive wall. I love Wheezing because it gives me another ground immunity. If I want to run neutralizing gas, it gives me a grounded poison. Wheezing has many different options for it. It gets so many different support moves like Will-O-Wisp, Toxic Spikes, great entry hazard. Memento, Explosion, it gets Haze, so you can't set up on it with Haze. Even Substitute, so that's really nice for Wheezing. And you know, decent chip with Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, the moves like that, Pain Split, do some good damage versus your opponent. Next up we have Galvantula. Now, I really wanted to draft Vikavolt this round, but I ended up getting sniped right before it because the person who sniped me got sniped. Like, they wanted Orbeetle, and then because Orbeetle got took, Ryan picked up Vikavolt, which I was so sad about because I was so excited to use Vikavolt. It's so good. It's stronger than Galvantula. Yes, it's slower, but if you're trying to set up webs, your speed doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's way stronger. Its move pool is way better. It has Roost, and as well as has Levitate, so it's a ground immunity. Another one, so that would have been really nice. But we have Galv, which I've used before. It's fast. It usually runs stuff like Boots or Sash to set up those webs. I thought webs could be nice support for Excadrill, Pokemon like Zarood, Heracross, stuff on my team that is fast but not too fast. You know what I mean? And Excadrill outside of Sand is not the fastest thing. It's Heracross's base speed, if I remember, at 85. So, outside of Sand, we don't have the fastest team. But we make up for it a little bit with webs. And Galvantula is a good Pokemon, like Specs Thunder. Specs Compound Eyes Thunders, they hurt, man. They're pretty good. If you have a matchup where my opponent is very weak to electricity, I'll probably bring Galvantula. Next up we have Gigoloth. It was round 7 at this point. And of course I wanted to get my setter. Hippo had gone, and I think Tyranitar got drafted too. But from the beginning, the plan was always to get Gigoloth. I didn't want to spend a lot of points on a setter. That's where like Sand kind of can fault, because you can build up a lot of same type weaknesses. That's why a lot of people are like, man, you don't even have a Sand team, you just have a Gigoloth and an Excadrill. And I was like, hey, that's what I was going for. I really don't want to have a lot of shared type weaknesses. But with that being said, I think I actually ended up with a lot of types being able to be spammed versus me, but we'll get to that later. But Gigoloth is really nice. Even without Excadrill, it can still bring Sand to abuse it and become a very specially bulky wall. It's very strong as well. I think it has 135 base attack. Very, very strong. I used it way back in TPL Season 2. Classic throwback. It was like the best Pokemon on my team, and I didn't even have a Sand abuser. Go figure. Next up, we have Heracross. Heracross is something I've been wanting to use for a long time, but I feel like there's always just been something that's happened, and Heracross just gets taken before I even think about it, because fighting types are never big on my radar. Usually I go for them towards in the middle tiers, where Heracross is, so you'd think I would get it more often, but in Dynamax leagues, Heracross is very worth an early pick, but finally we scoop it up. Finally, nobody else had their eyes on it by round 8, obviously. Most people were trying to scrounge out their points for what they had left. I circled back up for a couple more mid-tier picks in Heracross, and Cofagrigus next up. So Cofagrigus is really interesting. It is a ghost type. I didn't have a ghost type, so I got Cofagrigus because I wanted to play with like Ghost Spam, but also have like a really bulky Pokemon. And like Cofagrigus definitely is that. It can set hazards. If I want to run like some random like Trick Room set, I don't know. I'm interested to use it. Mummy could be interesting if there's Pokemon that have really annoying abilities. Can always send out Cofagrigus to give them Mummy. But yeah, I really like Cofagrigus. I think it's going to be decent all around, and it's probably not a Pokemon I will bring every week, but you can definitely see it coming. And last but kind of least too is Jigglypuff. So Jigglypuff at 1 point left in round 10, and I was planning for Jigglypuff. It let me get Cofagrigus for 10 points, and Jigglypuff, I wanted a normal and I wanted a fairy, and I didn't want to spend a lot of points on it, so I was like, go ahead and get Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff's job is just to make sure we don't lose to Dragapult. if we go against Dragapult, we don't have to worry about that thing too much. You know, as far as its like physical set, because Jigglypuff won't really care too much. Even like Steel Wing, it's not gonna really care. But that's really it for Jigglypuff. I think it gets teleport, knock off, interesting stuff like that. I wish it had a little bit more base defense, but other than that, it's pretty good. It's got a lot of HP. Eviolite it's good. It's decent. All in all, I think our team. I don't think our team's close to being the best in this league at all. I definitely say we're like more like mid tier, but I think for where we were, working off wheel picks, I think our team is very well rounded, and it covers its weaknesses well, in my opinion. Excadrill's weaknesses are covered across the board. Zarood is a ground resist. Latios and Wheezing are immune. Heracross is a ground resist. You know what I mean? So Vaporeon being extremely bulky as well. So I definitely like this team. It's going to be interesting. I will say I think I'm going to be relying on linchpin Pokemon like Latios every single week. I feel like for like offensive purposes, I'm going to have to bring Latios like every single week. But yeah, I really like it. We have status absorbers with Heracross and Zarood. It's a decent team all around, I think. And hopefully we can make our way to SPC playoffs again, and who knows, maybe we even win this season. But it's going to be a tall order because we have Skarmory and Corviknight over here in our division, so if any of those teams make it to playoffs, Excadrill is going to be walled. But no, it should be a lot of fun, and I'm interested to see all these like new coaches that we have and sauce them up, see what they got as far as like skill. So let's go. Let's have another great season in SBC. See you later, guys.